Why Bucky Barnes is the perfect fit for Captain America. Why would a man haunted by the sins of his past, a man burdened by memories of violence and regret, be the best choice to carry the shield of America's greatest hero? Because Captain America has never been about being perfect. It has always been about standing up time and time again, even when the world tells you to stay down. A friendship forged in loyalty, Bucky Barnes wasn't just Steve Rogers' best friend. He was his brother in arms. When Steve was the frail, scrappy kid from Brooklyn who never knew when to quit, Bucky was the one who stood beside him, fighting bullies in alleyways long before the war called them to something greater. He wasn't just a friend, he was Steve's protector. He saw something in that scrawny kid that others didn't. The heart of a fighter, the soul of a hero. For those of you who have already subscribed over the last couple of months, thank you guys so much. We've been gaining subscribers here at Maxiverse Twist, and if you have not already, I also noticed that 99.6% is watching in this channel have not yet subscribed already. I would just kindly invite you to do so. It's like the #1 thing you can do to support me as a content creator in the channel. And of course, you gotta be subbed to see more latest updated videos. When Steve became Captain America, Bucky didn't resent him. He followed him. He trusted Steve to lead, but Steve always trusted Bucky to have his back. They fought together, bled together, and when Bucky fell from that train in the Alps, Steve carried the weight of that loss for the rest of his life. But fate had other plans. Bucky didn't die that day. Instead, he became something else, something far darker. The Winter Soldier, a man lost in time. For decades, Bucky was stripped of his identity, his choices, and his freedom. The Winter Soldier was a ghost, a shadow in the dark, a weapon pointed at the world's enemies with no say in the matter. He committed atrocities not by choice, but by command, and when he finally broke free, the guilt nearly consumed him. And yet, Steve never gave up on him. Despite the world seeing him as an assassin, a relic of war best forgotten, Steve saw the man underneath, the friend he had lost, the brother who still existed beneath all that pain. Bucky was given a second chance, but the road to redemption is never easy. That's what makes him the perfect Captain America. Captain America, a symbol of redemption. Captain America is not just a soldier, he is not just a shield. He is a promise that no matter how hard the world tries to break you, no matter how dark things become, there is always a way forward. Bucky understands that struggle better than anyone. He knows what it means to fight for control over his own mind, to struggle against forces that want to define him by his past. If Steve represented unwavering idealism, then Bucky represents something just as powerful: redemption. The idea that no matter how broken you are, you can still fight for what's right. This is why Steve's choice of passing the shield to Sam Wilson, while meaningful in its own way, doesn't carry the same weight that it would have with Bucky. Sam is an incredible hero, but he does not bear the scars of war the way Bucky does. He has not had to claw his way out of the darkness, desperate to prove that he is more than what he was made into. Bucky carrying that shield would be a statement to the world that even the most broken can become whole again. The strength to carry the shield. Physically, Bucky is the ideal candidate. He is a super soldier, capable of matching any threat that comes his way. His combat experience is unparalleled, having fought in wars both conventional and covert. His tactical mind, honed through decades of battle, makes him more than just muscle. He is a leader, a strategist, someone who understands warfare from every angle. But more than that, Bucky has the resilience required to carry the shield. Steve Rogers became Captain America not because he was strong, but because he refused to back down from a fight. Bucky has faced battles far beyond what Steve ever had to endure. The war inside his own mind, the struggle against his own past. And he won. He survived. He clawed his way back from the abyss, choosing to fight for something greater than himself. That is what makes a true Captain America, the legacy that lives on. When Steve left his shield behind, he left behind more than just a weapon. He left behind a legacy. For Bucky, taking up that shield would not just be about honoring Steve, it would be about proving to himself that he is worthy of it. That he is not just the Winter Soldier. That he is not just a man burdened by his past. That he can be something more. Bucky Barnes is not perfect, but neither was Steve. The greatest heroes are not the ones who never fall, but the ones who rise after they do. And no one understands that better than Bucky. So why is Bucky Barnes the perfect fit for Captain America? Because he's earned it, because he's fought for it, because he knows better than anyone what it means to fall and rise again. And that is what being Captain America is all about. Why Bucky Barnes is the perfect fit compared to other heroes. Why do we admire heroes? Is it their strength, their unwavering sense of justice, or their ability to always do the right thing? Perhaps. But the heroes we connect with the most are often the ones who struggle, the ones who fall and claw their way back, the ones who remind us that no matter how dark things get, redemption is always within reach. And no one embodies that better than Bucky Barnes, a hero who never wanted to be. One Bucky Barnes wasn't born into greatness. He wasn't a super genius, a god, or a billionaire playboy. He was just a kid from Brooklyn, a soldier who fought for his country, and a best friend who always had Steve Rogers' back. When the world saw Steve as too weak, too frail, Bucky saw the fire in him, the determination, the heart. He stood by his side, not because Steve was Captain America, but because Steve was his brother in all but blood. And when war came, Bucky didn't hesitate. He enlisted, fought, and survived. Not for glory, but because it was the right thing to do. But fate had other plans. Captured by Hydra, tortured, and experimented on, Bucky wasn't just a prisoner. He was transformed. His mind, his memories, his very identity were stripped away, leaving behind only a weapon. The Winter Soldier was Hydra's most feared assassin, a ghost in the night, a myth whispered in fear. For decades, he was a machine, carrying out orders without hesitation. He was the blade that struck down countless targets, his hands stained with blood he couldn't even remember spilling. While Steve Rogers was frozen in ice, Bucky was trapped in an endless cycle of violence, waking only when Hydra needed him, then being wiped clean like a slate, his pain erased, his soul buried deeper each time. A different kind of strength. Most heroes have a choice. They decide to take up the mantle, to fight for justice. But Bucky never had that choice. His life was stolen from him. And yet, despite all the conditioning, despite the years of being broken down and rebuilt into something unrecognizable, a part of Bucky never truly disappeared. The moment Steve recognized him, something in him cracked. For the first time in years, he felt something other than cold obedience. He felt something real. That's the difference between Bucky and other heroes. His strength isn't just in his physical abilities, his metal arm, or his super soldier enhancements. His true strength is in his ability to keep going, to claw his way back to himself even after being used, manipulated, and discarded. He doesn't just fight enemies, he fights his own mind, his own past, the weight of every terrible thing he was forced to do. Promote your brand, product, or service with Maxiverse Twist. Are you looking for an affordable way to advertise your business? Look no further. At Maxiverse Twist, we offer 30 to 60-second ad placements within our video, starting at just $80. Here's how it works. Email us your ad video, up to 1 minute in length, at clovermaxi@gmail.com. Once your submission is reviewed and approved, we'll provide you with the payment details, PayPal only. After payment confirmation, your ad will be featured starting at the 3-minute mark in one of our upcoming videos. Why choose Maxiverse Twist? Your ad will reach an estimated 1.6K to 8.8K views within the first month. Quick turnaround. Your video will be uploaded within 1 week of payment confirmation. Don't miss this opportunity to boost your visibility. Contact us now to get started. Others may battle villains, but Bucky fights something far worse, his own demons. The burden of redemption. When Steve Rogers pulled him from the wreckage of Hydra's control, the world didn't see a hero. They saw a murderer. And in many ways, Bucky saw himself the same way. He didn't ask for forgiveness because he didn't believe he deserved it. Even after he was free, he was never truly at peace. How could he be? Every face, every name, every life taken. It haunted him. And yet, he still tried. He chose to fight, not because he wanted redemption, but because it was the only way forward. He didn't run from his past. He carried it, bore the weight of it, and used it to guide his future. That's what makes Bucky different. Many heroes struggle, but Bucky's struggle is constant. While others are celebrated for their victories, Bucky's victories are quieter, more personal. Every day that he wakes up and chooses to keep going, every time he extends a hand instead of a blade, every moment he spends trying to be better, That is heroism in its purest form. More than a sidekick, more than a soldier. For years, Bucky was seen as Steve Rogers' best friend, his backup, his partner in battle. But Bucky is more than a sidekick. He is more than the Winter Soldier. He is more than just a soldier. He is a survivor. When Steve was gone, Bucky had to find his own way. He had to build a life outside of Captain America's shadow, outside of Hydra's control. He had to learn who James Buchanan Barnes really was, not as a weapon, not as a soldier, but as a man. And that is why he is the perfect fit compared to other heroes. Others were born to be great. Others were chosen, gifted, or created with purpose. But Bucky? He was broken, lost, and left behind. And still, he rose. Not because of destiny, not because of a calling, but because he refused to be defined by his past. And that makes him more than a hero, it makes him human. The challenges Bucky Barnes would face as Captain America. Why? Why would a man with such a dark past struggle to step into the light of Captain America? Because the world does not easily forget, and neither does Bucky. A history stained by blood. Bucky Barnes may have been a victim of Hydra's brainwashing, but the world will always remember the Winter Soldier. Even with a pardon, his past crimes would be used against him. Political leaders, the media, and even some of his fellow heroes might question if a former assassin should wield the symbol of America, the shadow of Steve Rogers. No matter what he does, Bucky would always be compared to Steve. Every decision, every battle, every speech, he would be judged through the lens of his predecessor. The world does not easily accept change, and for many, Steve Rogers is the only Captain America they would ever acknowledge. The burden of self-doubt. Bucky has spent years trying to believe that he is more than his past. Carrying the shield would force him to face his demons head-on. Could he forgive himself enough to represent hope? Could he bear the responsibility without letting his past consume him? A new kind of warfare. Captain America is more than just a fighter. He is a leader, a diplomat, and a strategist. Bucky, having spent decades as an isolated assassin, would struggle to step into this role. Could he lead not just on the battlefield, but in the hearts and minds of the people? Despite these challenges, if anyone could overcome them, it would be Bucky Barnes. Because true heroes are not those who are unscathed, but those who rise despite their scars. What fans would expect from Bucky Barnes as Captain America fans would have high expectations for Bucky Barnes if he took on the mantle of Captain America. A darker, more gritty Captain America. Unlike Steve's unwavering optimism, Bucky would bring a more hardened, battle-worn perspective. Fans would expect a Captain America who doesn't shy away from difficult moral dilemmas and who fights with a raw intensity shaped by his past. And internal struggle fans would want to see Bucky wrestle with his demons, questioning whether he truly deserves the shield. His journey would be as much about self-acceptance as it would be about fighting external threats. Evolving the legacy Bucky wouldn't just replicate Steve's heroism, he would redefine it. Fans would expect him to create his own version of Captain America, one that speaks to redemption and perseverance in the face of darkness. Bucky's Captain America would be unlike any before him, and that's exactly why fans would love it. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe for more exciting Maxiverse Twist content.